What's up, guys? Welcome to another speed build. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. Today we are over in Willowcreek and I am building a budget-friendly family home that is 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. So this house is a 30,000 simoleon house. It is one step above starter home, but a step below a regular high dollar family home. I originally started this house with the mindset that this was going to be a starter home, but to be totally honest, once I started placing decorations on the inside and the outside, I just couldn't stop myself, and so it ended up becoming a little bit above a starter home. And so at that point I was like, you know what? I have been wanting to build a budget-friendly home that was around 30,000 simoleons for a while now, and I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to do so. As I was building this, I was imagining the type of family that would go for a home like this, and I thought the perfect family for this home would be like a young family that, you know, maybe recently just got married and recently started to have children. So I furnished this house for 2 parents and 2 kids. One of them is a toddler and the other one is an infant. So it is a very young family that lives in this house. The 2 parents actually recently got married just like about 4 or 5 years ago, right before they had their first child, and they were actually living with his parents at the time. They were super young, just out of high school. They never did go to university. They decided just to focus on their family life. That is really what they wanted to do. They both have family aspirations. One has the successful lineage and then the other one has big happy family. This particular couple actually have known each other since they were super young. They met in elementary school or grade school in The Sims, and they were best friends throughout their whole childhood, all the way through teenage years, until they ended up going on a date. They fell in love, and they decided to go ahead and get married right out of high school. They really care for each other a lot. They have not only a fantastic romantic relationship, but they are best friends at the same time, and it is absolutely awesome to be in love with your best friend. It really is. In real life and in The Sims, that really is the best case scenario. It makes for like a fantastic marriage. You have so much fun all the time. It really is awesome, to be totally honest. I would know. I did end up marrying my best friend, so that is super cool, and I wish that on literally everybody. And this couple is no different. They did end up marrying their best friend, just like I was saying, and they have so much fun all the time, and they absolutely love married life and family life. They ended up having their very first child when they were still living with his parents, and that is not the most ideal situation, but they were so young they really could not afford to live on their own quite yet, unless they just rented like an apartment in the city or something like that. But they really wanted to stay close with both of their families here in Willowcreek. This is where they were born and raised and where their roots are, and they really just did not want to leave. So his parents said, okay, you know what, you guys are able to stay here. You don't have to pay any rent, but you do have to save money. I don't want to see you guys spending money on all of this unnecessary stuff. You have a baby coming soon, and so you really need to save all of your money for not only the baby, but to eventually be able to move out of our house, because you know what, we love you, but we don't want you here forever. We are ready to retire and live our own lives, you know, so as long as we see you guys saving as much money as you can and not spending it on all of this unnecessary stuff, then you are able to stay here for as long as you need to. So they did just that. They both worked their regular daytime jobs. So he is just a businessman, you know, nothing special, but it pays the bills and he enjoys it at the end of the day. He is a very charismatic person. So he does really great in the office environment, working just a regular business job and doing a lot of networking and all of that sort of stuff, to each their own. It was not my favorite job, I have worked in offices too. I'm not great at networking, if we're being totally honest. Like, I am horrible at it. I'm not good at talking to people that I don't know, and that's the main part of networking, to be totally honest. So if you're not good at that, you probably wouldn't be very good at networking. But the wife, she actually was able to do something that she absolutely loves, and that is interior designing. And so you will see in this house that I did put an interior designing table in here. And so she does a lot of her work from her bedroom, to be totally honest. And then when she actually has a gig, then she'll go over to their house and do everything it takes as far as interior designing goes. A lot of the time, I haven't played the interior designing career in a long time, probably since it first came out. I played it a lot when it first came out, and then I got burnt out from it, and I stopped, and I haven't played it since. But if I'm remembering correctly, they do something on the board or the table, the interior designing table, but I can't really remember what they do. Maybe they work on some interior design decorating plans before they go to the customer's house, but I can't quite remember. But I thought it was a cute idea to put the table in there. I figured it was useful for something. And then I also put like the little like mood board or decoration board above it just to add some extra detail there. But if I'm remembering correctly, your sim goes to their customer's house and they have certain things that they want in the room that you're supposed to be redoing, and then you pretty much decorate it however you want it to. Whether it looks good or not, it doesn't matter according to the game. As long as you have everything that the customer asked for, that is all that matters. And I think that is pretty much all there is to it. And so, yeah, I remember it being pretty fun. And I thought it was a cute idea to have this particular sim be interested in interior design, because her house, it might be budget friendly, but it doesn't matter how broke you are. If you know how to DIY, then you could make your house look super cute. And I figured this sim was really into DIY. And as you can see, I am putting a lot of garden beds in the front, and I do some in the back too. So I did this recently on the Oasis Spring Starter Home, and so that kind of like kick-started something, and now I can't stop doing these garden beds. So I really hope you guys like these garden beds. Let me know down below if you do like these garden beds, how I'm doing it, or if it's not your favorite, because it is very tedious. And so, if you guys don't like it, I don't want to like spend a lot of time doing it, Does that make sense? So yeah, let me know. I think they're super, super cute, but like I said, they're super tedious. So let me know how you guys feel about the garden beds. If they're like worth the extra work, or if they're not worth it at all. Yeah, let me know, because I'm curious. But, with her being an interior designer, I thought it was a super cute idea to put garden beds on this house. I have this idea in my head that they first got this house, when their first child was a newborn baby. They saved up a lot of money and they were able to afford this fixer-upper. And at the time, it was starter home price. It was super cheap, and they have fixed it up to what it looks like today. Outside of the house, when they first got it, there was no landscaping whatsoever. It was pretty much a clean slate. If anything, there was a lot of overgrown grass everywhere that they had to totally get rid of. And once they got rid of the overgrown grass and bushes, trees, whatever, they were able to start on the landscaping exactly how they wanted it. And with her being in interior design, she had a particular idea in her head with a bunch of garden beds everywhere, making it look super cute and super inviting. And they worked as hard as they could and did not stop until it looked like it does now. And like I said earlier, they do have 2 children now, so their first child was only a newborn baby when they moved in, but it is now a toddler, so they have been here for a couple of years now, and so they've done quite a bit of work to it to where it's no longer starter home price, and it is now a little bit above starter home, and so they are really working super hard to make this house as best as it can be. They are pretty happy with how it looks now, but obviously they do have a lot more work that they need to do. They really want to add an extra bathroom onto their master bedroom so that they no longer have only 1 bathroom. And they also really want to redo the kitchen. They want to change the actual layout of the kitchen, at least change the cabinets if they don't change the layout. They really want to make it a little bit bigger than what it is now. Their dining room is kind of mixed with the kitchen. You could probably see what I have now. At the moment, I'm just placing filler furniture so that I get the necessary things out of the way so I know how much simoleons extra I have to spend on all the extra stuff. And I'm also trying to lay it out so that I can see the outcome and make sure I have a dining room and a kitchen and a living room and the bedrooms. And as you can see, the living room and kitchen, it's kind of like an open floor plan. And so the living room is a little bit on the small side, and so is the kitchen, and so is the dining room. So they really would love to open it up even more. Maybe add a second story, or maybe add on to the kitchen that is already there, and make it a little bit bigger so it's not so tight in there. And they also want to redo the cabinets. So the cabinets are the original cabinets that were put into this house when the house was first built decades ago, because, you know, this is an older house. That is why it's as cheap as it is. So they really want to update the cabinets and the kitchen appliances and make it more modern than what it is right now. So they really are trying to decide what they want to work on next, whether they want to add a second bathroom or update the kitchen. They're really indecisive on what they want to do next. But if you guys do end up downloading this house and you like the little storyline that I have going, I will leave that up to you guys on what room they work on next, if they even work on a room. Maybe this house is done and it looks like how it looks for the rest of their lives. Whatever you guys decide is completely up to you. But with that being said, if you do want to download this house, whether it's your forever home for your Sims or not, maybe it's just a right now and not a forever, it is available on the gallery if you want to download it. And my gallery ID is exactly like my YouTube name, The Clumsy Simmer, with no spaces, and it should come up. I do have some people tell me every once in a while that they cannot find my build, they cannot find my gallery ID or anything like that. I did change it maybe about a year ago, so if you search The Clumsy Simmer and it does not come up, try typing in Wild Hippie Chick with no spaces. That used to be my old name, and I changed it when I started my YouTube channel because I thought The Clumsy Simmer was better. So yeah, just a little bit of an FYI, if you cannot find my gallery profile, then that might be the issue. So as far as the storyline goes, that is pretty much all that I have for this storyline. It is a very, very small storyline. It's very short, but it is sweet at the same time. So it's a short but sweet storyline, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. As far as the actual build, like I was saying in the storyline, it is a fixer-upper. They did a lot of work to it already, but there's a lot that is still needed. Like these kitchen appliances, for instance, they are the cheapest ones. And so if you download this and you do fix it up like my storyline suggests, then that would probably be a good place to start, is just replacing the appliances so that you have better quality dishes. And I think it also makes the cooking process a little bit faster, and quite frankly, they look better, if we're being totally honest. These ones are honestly hideous in my opinion. I can't stand using these, so I never use them unless I'm trying to be cheap. Which is what happened here and what happens on most starter homes. And other than the kitchen, the bathroom is definitely desperate for an update. It is definitely overdue for one. I use the cheapest toilet and sink, if I'm not mistaken, and bathtub/shower combo. I use the cheapest ones on purpose, obviously, and I almost did just a regular tub because it's cheaper than the shower tub combo, but I cannot stand using just a tub and a build. It takes so long for the adult Sims. Well, any Sim that is child and up can take a shower. And so if you have them take a bath instead of a shower, it literally takes like half a day in The Sims. And that is just too long. I would rather spend a little bit more simoleons to have the shower tub combo so that your older Sims can take a shower, because it's so much quicker. But we also need a tub because of the toddler and infant, so you know, it was either a tub or shower tub combo. I couldn't do just a shower. So yeah, I thought it was worth the extra simoleons to get the combo so that you can still give your toddlers and infants a bath, but your older Sims can get the shower that they desperately need so that they don't take half a day to bathe themselves, because that is just so ridiculous to me. So I did end up completing the bathroom. What you see here is what ends up staying. So as far as the tile goes, that is definitely outdated looking. And same with the shower and tub and the toilet and the sink. So I did do that purposely for a couple reasons, because it's the cheapest and I wanted to stick with the storyline as far as like the outdated house goes. I also ended up putting a washer and dryer in the bathroom too. I like having that realistic aspect of doing laundry in The Sims. I really enjoy it for some reason. I really like including it in my builds. And I know it's kind of like a mixed opinion. I know some people love it, some people hate it. If you download this and you cannot stand the washer and dryer, it is so easy just to delete it, and you can delete the hampers as well so that your Sims don't put their dirty clothes in there if you do have laundry day. And it's just something I like to add. It makes it look super realistic, and I enjoy it as far as my gameplay goes. And I think it's a really nice addition to like a family house. And I did one blue and the other one white. For one, I thought that was super cute to have the different colors like that. And for two, it looks like sometime down the line, I figured they came with the house, right? The washer and dryer came with the house. And I figured the previous owners, you know, one might have broke down before the other one and they replaced one and they got a different color. I don't know. I thought it made sense for the storyline that I was going for. And so that is what I ended up going with. But the main reason was the fact that I thought it was cute to have a blue one and a white one, and it definitely matches the bathroom perfectly. And to be totally honest, now that I'm looking at the video, we are almost done with the furnishings altogether, which is crazy. This is honestly a super fast video, but that makes sense because it is budget friendly, so you can only do so much on the inside as far as decorations go. I spent a lot of time on the outside actually, as far as like the garden beds, and I also end up doing a different thing with the pathway. I do include the driveway. I like having the cars in front of the house. It looks super realistic, and I was super indecisive on how I wanted to lay out the sidewalk going from the driveway to the front door, and as well as the driveway to the backyard. So I end up pulling out the garden path stones from the debug catalog, and I sized them up one, and then I placed them like you would see a path in real life, leading from the driveway to the front door and the driveway to the backyard. So I don't know how I feel about that. I think it looks cute, but at the same time, is it too much? Like, I really can't decide. But I do feel like it makes sense as far as, like, you know, the mom being super into interior designing. I figured her house would be a little bit much with all the decorations everywhere, you know? But as far as my personal opinion, yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, but it is cute at the end of the day, so I guess that's a plus. And also towards the end of the build, I was looking at the front yard and I really wanted to add some fencing in the front yard, but I ran out of simoleon, so I had to look in the debug catalog, and I came across these, like, it almost looks like a farmhouse style fencing, and it's a light wood and it matches the light wood privacy fence I have in the back already. And so I ended up placing them in the front. And to be totally honest, I also don't know how I feel about that fence. I think I kind of hate it, to be totally honest, but I ended up keeping it because I don't know why. I don't know why I kept it if I don't like it, but it's cute, but at the same time, I don't know if it matches this exact house. But like I said, I did end up keeping it, so I hope you guys like it. If not, that's fine. I totally get it, because I don't think I like it either. I don't think I'll ever use it again, but it was fun for like a change. But now that I'm looking at the outside of the house with the garden beds without the fence, I feel like maybe I should have kept the fence off of it, but yeah, like I said, I kept it. So if you do download this, if you don't like it, I don't blame you for removing it at all, because that's probably what I would do, to be totally honest. I think that particular fence would be 100 times better with like a farmhouse style house, and I think that's what's throwing me off. This is more suburban and cutesy. It almost gives like grandma vibes in a way, but definitely not farmhouse whatsoever. So yeah, I think that's what the issue is. But here I am starting with the path stones that I was talking about earlier. This is actually the first time that I actually sized them up. And it was definitely less tedious to size them up like this and place them than leaving them the normal size. I usually leave them the normal size and it takes me so long to do it, but I wanted to see how it looked with them sized up, and I think I like them sized up. It kind of reminds me of some places, I think in Oasis Springs, and for sure some places in Ciudad Enamorada from Love Struck. I do remember seeing path stones like this size, and it looks super good in Ciudad Enamorada. And my apologies if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. That is a huge possibility that I'm doing that, so yeah, forgive me if I am. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly though. I do really like the way they look in that neighborhood, and I think they look okay here. I don't know, like I said, there's just something that's throwing me off about this build, and I don't know what it is, but that's the last time I'm going to say that. But anyways, I do end up placing more of the path stones more on like the left side of the backyard, kind of making a patio in a way. So there's a little bit of a back porch leading from the sliding glass door out to the backyard, but I do place some more path stones kind of in the garden area, making a little patio. And I end up placing a picnic table with some chairs and then a grill, and I do end up placing some garden planter boxes on the other side by like where the tree is. I almost placed a monkey bar set, and that is because that is usually my go-to, but I'm like, you know, they don't have any kids yet, so does that make any sense? I feel like it didn't. So I ended up placing garden planter boxes instead, and I figured if you guys download this, once the kids grow up, that is when the parents would probably buy a playground set, whether that's swing sets or monkey bars or whatever. I will leave you guys to decide what that is. But for now, I figured it makes sense to add something else, and planter boxes is honestly the only thing I could think of and the cheapest thing I could find. And I definitely did not want to leave it blank, because if you know anything about my builds, if you are a returning viewer, you know I probably over decorate, and I prefer to do that than leaving something blank. Because blank is boring, to be totally honest, at least in The Sims. I feel like in real life, if you have something blank, like a kitchen for instance, you don't have any appliances, then it looks clean. It looks nice. And if you have a lot of clutter in real life, that's when it looks a little bit, you know, exactly that, cluttered. And I like clutter in The Sims, not necessarily as much in real life, unless it's like legit decorations, but a lot of the time clutter in real life is not that. It's literally clutter. So yeah, it's kind of funny how like things in real life is not as good as it is in The Sims, or vice versa, because the same kind of goes for like floor plans or the outside of houses, the way that they're designed in real life versus The Sims. Like a regular block house that's like a square in real life, you know, looks nice, but if you try to mimic that in The Sims, it looks so boring and not good at all. Like, it's so funny how that is. And the same exact thing goes for community lots too. Like, if you try to build a strip center in The Sims just like it is in real life, it looks so bad. Like, I'm not even lying. And that's why it's so hard for me anyways to make community lots in The Sims, because if you look at inspiration pictures online, more times than not, everything you look at online for like real life community lots are going to be in like strip centers or strip malls, and it's literally just like a block building with like the name of the place on it and maybe a front door, maybe a window next to it, maybe not even a window. And so if you try to do that in The Sims, it just looks so bad. And that's why I have such a hard time doing community lots, guys, because the reference pictures that I have are not good. They're not good examples, you know, because they're like in real life and it's just totally different. And so yeah, pretty much when I build community lots, I might look at a reference picture, but for the most part, it comes out of my mind. And so yeah, I just have to imagine what I think makes sense and what a community lot would look like, you know, in The Sims. So yeah. I am now just finishing up last minute terrain paint and adding the last minute landscaping and the garden beds here in the backyard. And I still have to add like the grill and the table and all of that stuff. So I guess at this point, I really don't have anything left to say about this build. I really hope you enjoyed today's build and today's voiceover as well. I think I was a little bit all over the place today. I'm not really feeling that well. I'm a little bit under the weather, and I don't know if I said anything. I don't think I did, but my husband and I, we recently bought a house, so we are in the process of moving and signing all of the papers, and we're going through a lot. So yeah, I'm not normally like this. I'm not normally all over. Maybe I am. I'm not sure. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's build. I will leave you to enjoy the little bit that is left on your own. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that takes the time to watch my videos, subscribe, share, and interact with me down in the comments below. It really means so much to me, more than any of you could ever know. I hope you all have an amazing day or night wherever you are. I will see you all on Friday. Bye, guys.